Welcome back. So let's dive into the dailies. Now we have the Daily Trust, the Punch, the Daily Independent, and the Guardian newspapers, and also the Vanguard newspaper on our table this morning. I'll be starting off with the Vanguard newspaper, looking at the headlines here. Now let's see. From the Vanguard, of course, banner headline on the Vanguard speaks to the hardship in the land. Now the banner headline here reads, hardship will handle planned protest as family matter, federal government. I wonder what they mean by that.
You call family meeting now, father, mother, children. You understand?
I don't understand.
But you know how to do village parable? Everybody will just gather. You say what is in your mind? Yes.
It's the parable for me.
I really don't understand. Oh well, there are sub-riders to that one. Sub-riders there pleads with Nigerians to give it more time. Southeast governors warn against nationwide protest. We can't withdraw from protests. We didn't organize. Labour tells FG states to listen to cries of Nigerians. Warns against use of brute force on protesters. Threats won't work. Falano tells government, I beg your pardon. FG should engage in dialogue. Reps Minority Caucus. APC NWC appeals against protest. Summons emergency meeting with state chairman. Now, when the APC National Working Committee is organizing emergency meeting with state chairman, I'm wondering what they will be discussing, really. You know, that's the question on my mind.
Maybe they want
the discussions.
Maybe, you know, it's maybe going to be this way. The chairman of the party in all states, please try as much as you can to call the party members to order as regards this coming
Call party
protest.
Members to order.
Yes, for them not to be able to join the protest.
Have party members said they will join the protest?
No, the thing there is this. Remember that
we can't assume.
Nigeria,
We can't assume because we don't know. Well, we wait to see what they discuss and how it all pans out and how this will have an impact on the protest, really.
What we want to ask, the people who are calling for people to come, you know, warning against the people that want to do the protest and all that, is it that they don't understand that what we're talking about here is the untold hardship that everybody is passing through? I don't know if you saw that video where a boy in Kaduna State was talking about how the family now resorts to eating some grasses and all that for them to not go hungry and all. Now, when you want to call people to say, please don't protest, I believe we should be coming out to say these are the things that will put in place before the time so that you will look at this as a cushioning effect so that you will not go on that strike.
It's interesting.
But just telling us to dialogue.
This is part of our conversation, so when we get there,
Thank you very much, David, for saying that. Thank you.
All right, then. There's a pictorial here. This one talks about the Ojota, Maryland bridge shut down. The Odoyalaro Bridge, linking Maryland with Ojota, was shut down on Monday. I talked about it here, and how that one will stay shut for 90 days for construction work to carry on. But it's causing gridlock. That's the resultant effect of the road being shut down. But some would say it's a necessary evil. The road has to be shut down to be fixed, so it could be better for Nigerians. But my prayer is that it gets fixed on time and properly too. Not when it's fixed now, 2 years after, we'll shut it down again for another reconstruction. Now, that will worsen the sufferings of the people. Still on the Vanguard newspaper. Oh, okay, some headlines on top of the nameplates there. Unsettled FX forwards may impair confidence in economy. Analyst OPS warn. OPS being organized private sector. Terrorism. FG resumes mass trial of over 300 suspects. ONSA, Office of the National Security Advisor. Hardship. Stranded foreign scholars groan as FG slashes allowances. I hear some of them have not received allowance in 8 months. Insecurity perpetrated by organized non-state actors. Tinubu, okay. Now, if you know that, then put them in their place. If they are non-state actors, who has empowered these non-state actors, you put them in their place. If you know them, then solve the problem. Meta deletes 63,000 Nigerian accounts linked to sextortion scams. At times like this, you
Final smile on your
you
face.
just you just ask yourself, have you ever asked yourself, why is it always Nigeria? Why am I even a Nigerian? Nigeria is a great country.
Nah.
Nigeria is a great country.
True.
But when these things are, when it involves Nigerians, it blows over. Everybody talks about it. Some of the nationals, engage in sextortion, sex scam, where you go on social media, sexting. That's another word for texting. You're sexting and you're trying to scam somebody off it. But when Nigerians get into anything, they overdo it.
Imagine the number of people that were deleted.
Accounts,
63,000 accounts.
Number of accounts, 63,000. And this has caused a lot of hardship. There was a story, if I remember the story very correctly, where a young boy committed suicide because the person he was chatting with got nudies of him and threatened to post it if he didn't send certain amount of money to him. And that person was a Nigerian boy or young man who pretended to be a woman, chatting with this high school boy. And then it got to him, they exchanged videos, and then he threatened, blackmailing him. And when the boy couldn't raise the money, after paying, paying a certain amount, couldn't raise the rest, he took his own life.
Wow.
It's terrible what people do for money. Oh, well. 63,000 accounts. There we have it. And Dangote, stop demarketing local industries. Man cautions FG. As CSOs, religious groups demand probe of NNPC. And then we have some editorials there in sports. Paris 2024, Super Falcons confront Brazil today. So today is the D-Day. The D-Day. All right, so these are the headlines on the cover page of the Guardian newspaper.
Well, I find it interesting, this new warning from OPS as against unsettled FX forwards. I honestly think that the CBN can do better when it comes to managing how our Naira deepens. We keep buying the Naira and shoving up the Naira with some credible amount of money. But then again, one goes to wonder, if some policies are not working, why not just try to do something holistic about it? Not consistently try to, get to do another try and error. But then, let's get into another paper because of our time. And right now, we're going straight to the Guardian newspaper. And right there at the front page of the Guardian newspaper, the banner headline here reads, "Tough times for poor Nigerians as food inflation worsens malnutrition." We understand that to get a balanced diet in Nigeria presently, it's over almost 2,000 naira.
By balanced diet, what do you mean? Like we have the 6 classes of food in it?
Well,
Funnily enough, people don't even go for that anymore. Some people now go for Beleno Bisho glass, let us just eat and not be hungry. I guess that's what people are doing now in Nigeria. Who is thinking about balanced dieting? The only thing that will be there is water. That's the most important one I know we have there. Then we can now look for any other. I don't think protein actually can be afforded as the case may be now.
interesting times. All right, so giving you more headlines right there at the front page of the Guardian.
It's sorry to interrupt. It has come to a time where if people can manage to buy egg, they split it. I mean, I've seen that happen. They split one egg between 3 children in soup. Protein.
Oh boy.
In soup, you're eating eba. with soup. And because they need protein, they split one egg into 3 parts.
We're going to go back into that. We hear Oyindamola is on the streets. Our correspondent Oyindamola is on the streets trying to give us the voices of Nigerians on the streets. Let's get to hear you. Oyindamola, good morning to you.
Hello and good morning. We're right here at the newspaper stand this morning to bring you the reviews of headlines from the citizens on the street of Lagos. And with me this morning,
Comrade Ayotunde Adegboyega.
oh, nice meeting you, sir. Okay, so what's your take on the headlines this morning in the newspaper?
I think the raining and the burning issue presently now is the issue of protest for August 1. And because people are seriously arguing and shouting there, you understand? And my take as from day one, apart from being a comrade, is the fact that every citizen has a right to protest. That one is a normal thing. And the constitution guarantees that anywhere in the whole world. But at the same time, the freedom we have to protest, you understand, does not mean that I should violate other people's rights too. You understand? And of course, the first assignment of any government anywhere in the whole world is what? Security. Guarantees of security and lives and property. You understand? So I believe so much that the government too, just like they have been saying, will not close their eyes, to see that that area of the freedom will be breached. Me, I'm for protest. You understand? It is the right of every citizen. Air your anger in a peaceful manner. In a peaceful manner. You cannot be saying you are protesting. You are blocking the road. Another citizen, family, member, wife, or mother, or father is sick. And the person is taking that sick person to hospital. You understand? And because you are protesting, you block the road. And in the process, that person loses his life or her life. Then where is your protest? It ends there. To that person. And that's why I said, it's God will protest, let there be protest. You hear your anger, you do everything. But at the end of the day, you still have to sit down again at the round table and discuss. So the question now is, which one do you take first? Is it dialogue or protest? After protest, wow, solidarity, after 3, 4, 5 hours, 10 hours, everybody goes home. You understand? The government still continues. But the issue here is some people who are behind this protest, what happened in Kenya to judge that they can use it to do this. But the question is, the same policy that we have in Kenya that the government of Nigeria is following. The answer is no. What's the population of Kenya? What's the population of Nigeria? What is the problem at hand in Nigeria for now? What has been the problem from the past to where we are today? Corruption, the government is fighting corruption, and the corruption is again fighting back. IOC is not ready to give Dangote refinery crude oil, and the man is shouting. So where do we go take out in that area?
Thank you very much.
God bless you. God bless Nigeria.
Okay, like you rightly heard from our citizens this morning that protest is a must, but it should be a peaceful one and not damage any life or properties in the process. Oyindamola Olukuso for Voice of the People TV, taking it back to the studio.
Right. Well, interesting times there. Nigerians voicing and, of course, letting their voice heard. Well, let's get back to the papers. And yes, we were still on the Guardian newspaper. Other headlines here. Okay, there is a major pictorial there. And, of course, inside that pictorial, you have some headlines there. 100 under 5 children die every hour. 2 million suffer acute malnutrition. Okay, that's like the subwriter of the banner headlines. Nigeria loses $1.5 billion of its GDP to malnutrition yearly. UNICEF urges FG to introduce food subsidy, reduce tax. FG stakeholders propose $60 million to tackle malnutrition. Well, right there, the major pictorial there is the president, the Senate, and quite a number of the big names. All right, other headlines there. Beneath that pictorial, NDLEA nabs Lagos drug baron after years of evading arrest. Planned protests. SGF meets Tinubu's cabinet as APC holds emergency meeting. Dangote refinery may accelerate closure of Europe's existing 90 refineries. Complaints against corrupt public officers up by 29%. You can find that on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. Meta deletes 63,000 naira 63,000 Facebook accounts over sextortion scams. FG resumes mass trial of terrorism suspects. OPS faults fresh MPR hike foresees shutdown of more businesses. And then the final headline here, Nance kicks as FG slashes allowances of scholars abroad. Well, these are the headlines right there at the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Interestingly, I saw this headline and I saw it also on the Vanguard when you read it earlier. Federal government resuming mass trial of terrorism suspects.
Yeah, like 300 of them to be tried.
Then one gets to ask, why are these trials not public?
Funny, the question I have actually in my mind is, I hope after these trials are being done, these people will actually go to face the wrath of the law. I hope it's not going to, if they're found guilty, yes. I hope it's not going to be the case of, because we've seen where some people actually were being granted freedom, and then they say they've been radicalized, and they send some of them back to these communities. And also, some of them also who are terrorists, being in the prisons, or rather in the correctional facilities, and then some government officials will just go and grant them pardon. And you want to ask, what is really happening? What is happening? Anyway, we'll move to another headline, another front page this morning, the Daily Independent. And the banner headline on the Daily Independent this morning reads, tax on forex gains would deter foreign investors in banks warns. And the writers there are, asks Senate to intervene, says it amounts to double taxation. It will reduce investment, decrease liquidity, increase costs. And the window headlines there are, Fubara bags Independent Newspaper's Governor of the Year 2023 award. And beside that, Dangote refinery must not fail. Kwankwaso wants FG. And the writer there is, shareholders condemn demarcating, say it may discourage investors. And we have a pictorial here. Tinubu assent to Northwest Southeast Development Commission bill. That's on page 6. And then that pictorial will have the president, will have Hope Uzodinma, and other Nigerians, Southeasterners. Beside that pictorial, NLC asks FG states to listen to worries of Nigeria. The writer there is, clarifies position on planned nationwide protest. And you can get that on page 7 of the Daily Independent. LP says NLC has been paid to destroy party. Insists INEC recognizes Abure, other party officials. Only constitutional amendment can address protesters' demand, and that is according to APC. And I'll have a writer there. Appeals to organizers to shelve their plans. Protests ill-timed will overheat polity. And that is coming from Uzodinma. You can get that on page 29 of the Daily Independent newspaper. And Senate Chief Whip, Southern Borno indigents protest sack of Ndume. And that is on page 6 of the Daily Independent. And we have another bold headline, duty-free food imports will impoverish us. Farmers tells LG. Says food importation risks destroying countries' agriculture. And okay, we have the last headline. That's the strip, the bottom strip. It reads, bring investment to Lagos, guarantee of returns assured. And that is according to Sawolu. Bring investment to Lagos, guarantee of returns assured. And those are the headlines that made it to the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning.
Well, two headlines here for me. The first is the second bold headline on that particular newspaper. I'm talking about the Daily Independent, which is duty-free food imports will impoverish us, farmers telling the federal government. I think this is a no-brainer, really, because if you look at it from the perspective of the fact that the farmers are not practically going back to farms, so much insecurity in the land, and it is deterring them from carrying out their duties as farmers. And then the federal government going further to say, hey, let's try to cushion the situation by giving duty-free on imports of food products. Interesting times, really, but the farmers cannot be wrong on this one, because if we keep importing these foods, staple foods, as it were, what then do we need the farmers for?
That is it.
And that, again, might just crumble agriculture and destroy totally in Nigeria.
And also, we also stand the risk of having foods that do not even meet the standard being pushed down to Nigeria. Because there was a time we heard about Thailand dropping rice, grains they stored for over 10 years. You know, they just opened their ban and were like, okay, we need to push this out. And who knows where those ones are going to anyway. But another headline that actually caught my fancy was that of the Senate Chief Whip, how Southern Borno indigenes are protesting the sack of Ali Ndume. Ndume said something about what is happening in the government as a Senate Chief Whip. And before you know what is happening, he was, the position of the Senate Chief Whip was taken out from, him. And what we want to ask, is it now a crime to talk? What happens to the freedom of speech? What happens to what democracy actually entails? But anyway, I believe the National Assembly have their modus operandi, and they have a way, they expect their members to
All right.
behave.
The one that got me smiling from that paper is the pictorial there. Just speaks to how politicians think. That pictorial, we have President Bola Tinubu, Hope Uzodinma, and
Francis
Pius
Wifuru. Yes.
Former Senate President.
Former Senate President, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation during the time of Goodluck Ebele,
And Francis
Jonathan.
Wifuru, yes.
And
Ebonyi State.
yes, that was the president, Hope Uzodinma, presenting Pius to the president as he defects to the APC from the PDP. And this speaks to how much of the big wigs that have left the PDP for the APC. One wonders what is left for the PDP in 2027. Where does the PDP stand? Will the PDP still have the bite that it used to have? We've been hearing talks about the possible establishment of another party.
Yeah.
Will there be another party that will shove the PDP to the beans? We wait to see how that one pans out, because there are permutations here and there. I foresee a future where it's going to be the APC, Labour, and another party that will spring up. But as it stands now, if you talk about structure, the APC seems to be the only one that has, real structure on ground, as every other person, well, most of the people are moving to the APC. And the reason given by Senator, I dare call him that, Senator Pius Ayim, is the fact that they need collaboration at this time to build Nigeria. What Nigeria needs is collaboration of those involved in politics to build.
When you mention structure,
it's really all about interest.
When you mention structure, I was trying to run it through my head. So does the APC really have that structure?
Are you asking that question?
Yes, because maybe what we would say at this time is the humans are now the structure.
Are you seriously asking that question?
But I think the reason is this: when you look at their emergence and the people that actually happen to be part of APC, one can actually say, yes, they have a structure. Where do the people that make APC come from? No, they have a structure. They have a structure. Now,
You know why I asked the
because they will
question,
tell
they have
you-
a structure? Because you see, it's quite interesting that politicians do this. They just jump ship at
They cross carpet every time.
the smallest space.
Yeah.
And as it stands, you only jump ship because you want to stay relevant. You only jump ship because possibly you want to have your sins covered.
Game of
So
interest.
if that would be structure,
No,
then
that's
yes,
not structure.
That would be
Structure is around the country. How many party secretariats, how many seats do you have? Local government seats, Senate seats,
David,
you know, around the country. There are, well, anyway, let's not get into this
Well, you're
conversation.
going that
We're
way.
past-
Now,
we're past- we're past the time.
let me just ask you this question. One question now. We have the structures everywhere in Nigeria, right? Just like you
We're
said
past
about
the time.
APC. And for 9 years, we have them. And then we're talking about what? Now,
Anyways,
nationwide practice.
let's get to a conversation. Government instigated the violence that stopped NSAS protests. Now, this statement was credited to human rights lawyer Femi Falana. This and more we will be talking about when we return after this quick break. Stay with us.